Hello Scorpio, great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Scorpio.
For you is it seems to me that there are going to be a lot of I feel like financial transactions that are happening, that are taking place, okay? And I feel like you are going to be in the right place at the right time. So I feel like whatever happens this month, you're divinely guided to be in the right environment at the right moment, to make your mark. And I feel that when it comes to finances specifically, especially if you are working in a client-based basis, you're trying to land an account, you're trying to persuade somebody to get on board and either finance something that you've got going, I do sense that you are going to be very, very persuasive and very successful. So I definitely feel a lot of contracts are being finalized and it's finance related. What I'm also feeling is that the money situation is going to be, it's going to require, I feel like, some manipulation from your end. So that doesn't mean like in a bad way, but I feel like you might be put in a position where you might have to, like, withhold certain important information in order to get some things rolling along, okay? So that's what I'm sensing, and I do feel that it's going to land in your favor, and I don't feel you're doing anything unethical. I don't sense that. But I feel like you might be put in a situation where you have to compromise what you truly believe in, in order to cater to others. So that's the first thing I'm feeling. The other thing I'm sensing here is there's a lot of attraction, there's a lot of love in store for you for this month. And what I'm feeling is that I feel like there's a spark of interest in a new person, and this is like a brand new person. And I feel like there's a very, I guess, like charismatic energy that the other person is bringing into your life, okay? And I feel like it's just the nature of, them being very, very different from you. You feel like this person is really exciting, is it's just very charismatic, and I feel like you're taken in by another person. And I feel that you are somehow, I'm sensing that there's a lot of admiration, okay, from them to you and you to them for all different reasons. I mean, they might look up to you because they think you're very intelligent and very successful. You might look up to them because you feel like they're very pure, very innocent, is what I'm sensing. So I do feel that this is a month in which, you have major temptations coming through in your environment. And I feel that success is giving you like a very positive reception as well. Being in the spotlight, the light is shining on you, so you're getting a lot of positive attention, okay? And I feel like if someone is coming at you starry-eyed, I feel that you've got the upper hand in this situation. And do with that as you will. Just, be responsible, because I feel like the other person is very pure and very innocent. That's what I'm sensing. What I'm also feeling is, once again, the spotlight is definitely being shining on you, and you have the power of persuasion, like, that gift of gab, and you have like immense power of attraction as well. So whenever we are put in a spotlight, it's obviously because we've earned it, right? So just make sure that you portray yourself with conduct yourself with, the highest standards of integrity, because I feel like with all this attention coming upon you, it can be very, very good for your career, but it can also create a lot of setbacks if you don't behave accordingly, okay? So really think about actions and consequences, and really think about what you need to do to get where you are and to get the reception that you're hoping for, okay? So that's the first thing. I'm actually going to pull out one extra card here because I want to see what's going on here. What is this in reference to? Okay. So that came out. All right. So let me see if there's any last minute messages that I'm feeling coming through. And I'm sorry for the tackiness, but I'm going to put it this way so that it's organized. Let me see if there's anything else coming through. I was feeling that, like once again, there's this immense sense of temptation, and it's basically that I'm feeling that you might be dealing with somebody who's like very starry-eyed, who is potentially significantly younger, age difference, but also life experience as well. So I feel like if you are in a position where you are used to like mentoring somebody, okay, I feel like this person is coming to you very starry-eyed, and it's really important for you to try to conduct yourself in the best manner, okay? Think about like the role that you're playing in whatever institution, whatever capacity you're working at. Think about the role that you're playing. Think about the values that you're trying to uphold and stick to them, okay? Because I feel like it is a month greatly about actions and consequences. So just be very careful about that, where you tread and how you live up to your moral obligations and your code of conduct and your moral standards, okay? So it's a big, big month, and I feel like it's not the month to slip up. If you have been doing something that pertains to like, slipping up or even doing something behind the scenes that you're not supposed to as well, it's best to like put that to rest, and it's best to at least take a hiatus, because during Mercury in retrograde, things have a habit of coming to light. We are less careful. People tend to talk a little more. Things just tend to get to slip out. Okay, so just be careful about that. Okay. All right. So enough about that. Let me just go into your reading. So the first thing that I'm sensing here already is we do have a new job situation coming through. And you got something, I believe, very similar to Sagittarius. So especially for those on the cusp between Sagittarius and Scorpios, you might want to take a look at both readings, because I feel like this was very, very strong energy indicative of financial windfall, financial gains, but also a new job that is coming through in the works for you, okay? What I feel is that for a lot of you, there might be some legal issue and you're gaining from it, okay? So if you're working in a client base and you're a consultant in the legal profession, I do feel you have some major, major important clients. And I feel like these are like milestone cases that are going to, be change the law in some capacity. So I definitely feel you're getting a very, very high profile client if you are especially a consultant or you're working in client basis. So I definitely feel like a huge portfolios for those of you who are investing, who are brokers, investors. I see that you're dealing with physically with a large sum of money, and that's for those of you who are working. For others, there will be new jobs coming through, and I feel like it pertains to governmental institutions, it pertains to law, it pertains to like civics and society. So I feel like you've got a lot of like public image things that are going to be basically shining on you, okay? So like getting a lot of reception, and good reception, but also getting a lot of scrutiny as well from the public, good or bad. So just, make sure that you are mindful about that, okay? Conduct yourself properly. What I also feel is this also indicates to me some long-standing legal dispute and a settlement finally coming through. For some of you, I feel like this could simply be like divorce, finally severing those cord of attachments, dividing in your assets, liquidating your assets so that you both can either split the money in a fair manner rather than holding on to, like non-liquid goods such as housing, land, property, and things like that. Just like liquidating all your assets and then dividing the assets between two people. So I definitely feel court settlements as well pertaining to jobs like workers' compensation, even like any type of, I feel strongly like malpractice, and I also feel like any situation that pertains to legal system, and I'm getting very strong incarceration as well, okay? So for those of you who are dealing with a few of these things, I feel that it's going to be settled, and I definitely feel that for this month, something is breaking through where you're actually going to, actually discuss the amount of money, the amount that is being settled, as well as signing paperwork. So I definitely feel signing on the dotted line for you guys. I don't see so much like paperwork and contracts, but I do feel a lot of discussions about money in a official manner, like, you know, sitting down at a lawyer's office and really talking to the other side about, you know, what's going to happen, how the money and the assets are being divided, okay? So that's coming in very, very strongly. I feel like, you know, it's once again like offers of jobs, okay? And both of these cards fell out very early on in the spread stages right now. So it's not over just yet. In terms of your housing environment, I do feel it pertains to housing environment, okay? We do have the Tower and the Nine of Wands, and I actually should have pulled out another card for the Tower, and I will do that in just a little bit. But let me talk about this situation. I definitely feel a lot of you are still going through the mediation or the stages, the appeal stages is what I'm feeling. So the Nine of Wands indicates a situation where we are kind of like battle weary, battle scarred, and we're still trying to rough it out and still trying to fight another day. So taking a rest from a situation to reconvene at a later time and to fight another day. So they're telling you pretty much, you know, you've got a soldier on. It's not the end just yet. You're almost there, and things will change, okay? What's coming in the heels of that is the Tower, and the Tower is a major arcana card, and it can be very, very disruptive. It can be very life-changing, and it can be very like impactful and long-lasting. This is not a card to take lightly, especially when it pertains to some type of a long-standing issue that you've had with a person, an individual, an institution, a group of people. So this is an ongoing thing. You might have had to deal with it for the past year, and I do feel that it's going to come to an end, and you're going to be able to get some type of a resolution or even some type of a closure. The types of closure you're getting, whether or not it's going to be ruled in your interest, that is up to the individual, and that's, you know, going to vary. But I do feel it pertains to court cases, it pertains to legal disputes, and it also pertains to financial gains, like through settlements and things like that. So they're telling you that, you know, you might be battle weary, you might just want to avoid it altogether, but it's telling you to soldier on for another day and, you know, push forward, okay? The end is almost there, so just push forward. What I'm also feeling is, I feel for a lot of you, you might have to liquidate your assets, which is, you know, like selling the house, selling the property, getting an appraiser to look at your property, and they might find some type of structural damage. I also feel that, you know, like you're hoping to sell a property and just move away and just leave it all behind. And they're saying, well, you can't really sell it. It's not up to code. It's not up to regulation, mainly because of, you know, A, B, and C. And I feel that you're going to have to spend a little bit of money to fix it up. So that's potentially coming through too. What I'm also feeling is, I feel like this is a long-standing problem. It's not something that just came into the picture recently, okay? Disputes, arguments, misunderstandings as well. But these are like long-standing issues with the same person that you might have been dealing with. And as a result of it, I feel like, you know, one thing leads to another, and then both parties decide to just go their separate ways, okay? It's that's what it seems like to me. And I'm actually going to pull out another card because I am curious. So let's just see, what does the Tower pertain to for majority of the Scorpios? So we have here the Princess of Swords. The Princess of Wands. This is like the Page of Wands in the traditional tarot deck, the Rider-Waite deck. The Page of Wands indicates news and messages coming through related to business, related to, I feel that in some instances, it can relate to work projects as well. But this is basically, it came out like this, which indicates like some troublesome news that really shook your foundation, okay? So troublesome news that really, really shook your foundation. Finding out that somebody has been like, to your face, they might have been very, very supportive, but I feel like behind the scenes, they might have been working at cross purposes with you. This also indicates to me the Wand's energy is just, you know, you are a water sign. So I feel like you're dealing with somebody with a very, very different philosophical outlook, okay? The fire signs is like your polar opposites. Elementally, it's opposite from water. And I feel like because of it, our sense of direction in life, or our value system, our moral conduct, our code of ethics, you're dealing with somebody who's very, very different from you, and you are butting heads. You are not seeing eye to eye, and I feel like some things are coming through right now where you are going to realize that, things cannot continue as they are. You refuse to change. I feel that you are refusing. You're taking a stance. And I feel that the other person is also taking a stance, okay? So I definitely feel like some troublesome information coming through, news, messages, that will really shake the foundation of your life coming through for this month. And I don't want that to sound so catastrophic, but I do feel for a lot of you, it could be as simple as, I can't live here anymore, I need to find another place, and then moving out, okay? Just as simple as that. But either way, it is something very transformative, and it is something that is almost like irreversible. But the thing I want you to keep in mind about this is that I'm feeling that, sometimes things are built on the wrong foundation, okay? And a lot of the times, for all people, not just for Scorpios, but I feel for all people, we stay in it and stay in it and stay in it. And then we start getting comfortable, right? And we always know, our nagging intuition always tells us that, this is not going to work. So you really have to, do something about it. And, a lot of the times we just sit and ponder about it, and we procrastinate too. So we'll say like, oh, I'll take care of it tomorrow. I'll take care of it tomorrow. And I feel that for a lot of you, tomorrow is actually happening. So you might have to reassess some things that you've been doing. And I feel like, if you've been building a fence, let's just say if you've been building a fence, some type of a barrier between you and another person, and you're just like, that tree that is like perfectly lined up on top of the fence is getting kind of dry, so it might, the branch might snap off, and you might say like, oh, I'll fix it tomorrow, I'll saw it off tomorrow, or I'll fix the fence tomorrow. And I feel like that's something that's coming through, okay? Like lightning strikes or something, and then the tree falls over, or the branch falls off, or the fence gets knocked down. So I definitely see some boundary issues too when it comes to court cases, okay? Like neighbors encroaching upon your own space. You might do the same with neighbors, or like some type of vehicle problems is like that too. So just be very careful. I feel like the energy is a little bit volatile, so be very careful if you're out and about, and especially if you're driving with just like one other person. That came to mind. And then, make sure that if for some odd reason you have a habit of like leaving your windows open, just make sure you lock up, because I feel like there might be like a surprising change of weather, and you might get rain for some reason that you didn't expect, and then it ends up getting through, okay? So just be careful about that. Now, in terms of your finances, and I say finances, but there's also another message here, okay? We do have the Prince of Pentacles as well as the Devil. So the Prince of Pentacles indicates like a little bit of a step down when it comes to accepting jobs, okay? I do feel new jobs coming through for some of you, and the new job just means a new job. It can be like a huge pay increase for a lot of you. It could also be like a step up in terms of status, but for majority of people, it just means a new job. For others of you, I feel like it might be, a job offer that you feel that, okay, I'm going to do this. It's not where I want to be, in terms of salary, but I'm definitely going to work at it. And a lot of you might have accepted a new job recently in the time of Taurus. So that's going to be, and you figure, okay, if it's like commission based, you might realize that you might not have enough clients, and then you're kind of stuck to this job, so you can't really branch out and look for other jobs. So I feel like if you had taken a job like in that time frame, like in the time of Taurus, or even the beginning of the year in that time of Capricorn, because we do have the Devil card too. But what it means to me is I feel like the job was not all that it's cracked up to be, okay? There were some hidden information that you might not have been aware of. And especially, I feel like for those of you who are like, if they asked you, do you want to get salary or do you want to get commission? And a lot of you might have been like, well, with commission, there's no cap, right? So you might have chosen clients based on a commission basis, and you might realize that it's actually not all that is cracked up to be. So I feel like there is a little bit for those of you who have accepted work in, and you're realizing that it might not pan out. So you might be looking for another job, or you might accept something else that comes through. So that's what I'm feeling. And, in the meantime, you're very ecstatic about leaving this behind, but you still got to put in that 2 weeks notice, right? So you're going to be there for a little bit longer. And I know that sounds like more on the mundane level, but what I'm also feeling is for others of you who are dealing with an earth sign, okay? So an earth sign is Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. What I feel is that there are some unhealthy bonds of attachment that is linking you two together, okay? It could be like in the form where it's codependent. One person is making a lot of money, the other person is not. So financially, you are kind of chained up together. A lot of you, I feel like it might not be an earth sign, just another person in your midst that you are financially linked up with, and you are not able to extract yourself. If this situation sounds familiar, I definitely feel like some changes are going to come in. Some things are going to come in to shake this relationship, to shake you out of complacency, and for you to realize that, this is not healthy. You need to get out, and that you need to, I feel like, break those chains, like break free from bondage, okay? What I'm sensing is, for a lot of you, I feel like staying together with another person, with a company, for financial reasons, for financial security, okay? And I also feel like the situation was too comfortable, it was just too comfortable. It was too easy, it was too comfortable. So you stay there and stay there, and I feel that you're not growing anymore. You're becoming like, your soul wants you to explore a little bit more. You even want more for yourself. So you're starting to feel that, the shackles are tightening. So I feel this pertains to the work environment specifically for a lot of you, where you might be underpaid, and because it's secure, you might stay in it, okay? I'm gonna say this. Last month this month actually, because I already did it, I did the Capricorn reading, and I got a very similar energy where I felt like, they, the Capricorn energy was that a lot of people were working really, really hard, but they weren't financially where they wanted to be. And I feel like this energy it feels familiar. So if you're dealing with a Capricorn, I feel that they might be stuck in this situation, and you might be the one to give them some type of a self-esteem boost, or some type of a financial assistance or financial planning that's coming through for you, okay? For others of you, you might receive financial assistance from an earth sign, okay? And I feel that they're sincere and they're trying to help you. On the other end of the spectrum, I feel like for a lot of you, you might be in a situation, right? And you're just like, I don't know why I can't really get out of it. People are trying to help me. And I feel like the people that are trying to help you are the ones that are enabling and worsening the situation. They don't want you to be independent. They don't want you to be financially, savvy or savvier than them. They don't want you to really free yourself. So I feel like it's an exploitative work environment, and I feel that the sooner you come to your senses about this situation, the happier you are going to be. So I feel like some type of an exploitative work environment is coming through. I feel like someone is giving you enough just so you can, get by, but they're not giving you enough to save up so that you can remove yourself out of this situation. So that's something coming through. I feel that it is exploitative. So, please get yourself out of this and, find something else, okay? Scrape by if you need to, because I feel that you need to remove yourself from this unhealthy situation. And what I feel is like the Tower came in first, which means the information was revealed to you, and I feel that you're still struggling to stay in it, okay? I'm also feeling, some situation here where it's very toxic, very codependent, and it's very like breaches of boundaries, breaches of like demarcation, not knowing clearly where we end and where others begin. And I feel like one person enabling another, and it's just this vicious cycle is what I'm feeling. And I apologize for the negativity, but I feel like this is not a healthy space for you to be in, okay? The devil coming out with the tower definitely screams out massive addiction to me as well. And you know, like I'm gonna interpret it as more on the emotional front, which is like emotional codependencies, okay? Escapism, whatever way that you want to look at that. You have some really good stuff coming through in terms of financial stability. So focus your energy there rather than filtering it out or expending it towards ends that are not good for you on an emotional or even on a spiritual level, okay? So what's coming through at the end here is we've got the Lovers and the Two of Pentacles. So somebody's juggling multiple options, okay? So the two of Pentacles is definitely, you know, just like purely on a mundane level. It means working two jobs, trying to get by, trying to scrape by, because we fear the alternative, which is, you know, being in dire strait financially, having financial worries, living from paycheck to paycheck, or at least, you know, trying to save up for a trip, because the Two of Pentacles usually indicate some type of overseas voyage, a risky adventure as well. Like risky venture is what I'm getting, which can be investment opportunities overseas linked up with another person. The Lover's card is major life decisions that you are going to have to make, and I feel that a lot of you are weighing out your options, okay? So I feel like on a purely personal level, I feel like if you're working in a corporation and you absolutely can't stand it anymore, a lot of you might be thinking about, do I continue working or do I shift into self-employment? Okay, this is a card about the business owner, and she has assets that grow for her, okay? So I feel like a lot of you might just be, and I hope, you know, this is what you're grappling with rather than the other stuff, because this is a much better energy. So I feel like you might be grappling with like, should I, you know, continue working, or should I get into self-employment? I feel for a lot of you, you've had some ideas that have not been solidified for creative projects that you can do and be self-employed at. And I feel like you might be getting some type of a reprimand in your work environment. And I feel like tempers might be flaring. And then I feel you leaving your job altogether without any backup plans. And then you actually go with the initial creative projects that you've been thinking about, okay? And I feel it's going to pan out quite well, actually. So you've got some good things coming, especially if you're planning to shift from full-time work to self-employment. The other alternative interpretation here is I feel like for a lot of you, you're dealing with an air sign, okay? And this is an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. But what I also feel about this person, and I feel like a very heavy Libra energy, because coming in at the beginning, we have the Justice card. And I feel like you're dealing with someone who is very intelligent, and they're like ready for battle. Okay, so this is the King. This is like the I guess like the apex of that suit of swords, which deals with communication. Someone in your environment is like, no matter what you say, no matter how you slice it, they always manage to get like a one up when it comes to like verbal rapport, communication, and things like that, okay? So I definitely feel that is coming through. What I'm also sensing is, for a lot of you, and I'm getting like, you know, Gemini, Libra, heavy Gemini, heavy Libra influence here with the Lovers card and also that Justice card. For a lot of you, you might just be simply, you are at a crossroads when it comes to some type of a partnership, some type of an endeavor. And the Earth sign might be restrictive to you, and you might be shifting into an air sign, or vice versa. There is something here about, you know, having to make a decision between financial stability even, and between like excitement is what I'm sensing. Financial stability and excitement, okay? I feel like that's what's happening here. And there's also having to choose between earth signs and air signs. So earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and then air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And, you know, keep in mind, we did have a fire sign that came out as well, so that might also be thrown in the mix. So you've got a lot of people that you're essentially choosing from, and I feel like one relationship was is very restrictive. The other relationship, it's not built on, you know, mutual emotional connection. One seems stable and very, but a little bit restrictive, that you're not ready for just yet. The other one seems a little bit unstable, exciting, but very unstable. And then the other one is like the new option that you haven't tried yet. So I feel like something is piquing your interest. You've got some temptation in your environment. I do feel that, okay? Like I'm getting, like, specifically for those of you who are dating women, I feel like you've got some really pretty, you know, like starry-eyed, pretty women in your environment, and they're not provoking you. It's not like they're, you know, dressed up and trying to seduce you. I don't feel that. I feel that the information exchange, the way it comes together, it's very innocent, and because of it, you're very drawn to it. Okay, so just be very careful about that if that's the case. What I'm also feeling here, we do have the Hierophant, the Princess of Cups, and the Seven of Cups. So this is a major karmic card, okay? It deals with order, it deals with tradition, and it deals with, like, hierarchy as well. So I feel like be very careful about how you communicate. I feel that, you know, being a little bit more orthodox and I'm sensing, like, I'm feeling like this sense of being very careful about how you conduct yourself overall, okay? This is a card about chastisement, which is, you know, doing something and then getting reprimanded as well, okay? So I feel like whatever is happening for you, if there is a reprimand, rather than taking it defensively and, you know, causing a scene, I hope you don't do that. But I feel like this is a month for you to really humble yourself. And that means, you know, thinking about actions and consequences. Thinking about, you know, no mortal is above the law. And especially if we're dealing with universal human laws, you want to be a little bit careful about, you know, thinking, oh, I can fight the system. Or I'm going to do this one thing and then get away with it because I've gotten away with it in the past. Just be really careful about that. Because we are in Mercury retrograde, and we don't really get away with things during Mercury retrograde, okay? And when things are found out, it will be a little bit catastrophic. So they're telling you to be a little bit more conservative this month. Watch your communication. Make sure that you keep your temper under control, because I feel there's a lot of fire energy, okay? And there are also a lot of major arcanas that deal with heavy energies of restriction, and I feel that you might get worked up and you might feel frustrated. If that's the case, I do feel that, you know, you want to just abide by the rules, okay? Do things by the book. What I'm also feeling is a lot of you might be disbanding a family unit, might be changing home, might be changing your name to a different name, changing your name back to your maiden name is what I'm also feeling. And I do sense some type of situation where there might be a crisis of faith, returning to spirituality in order to find the higher calling. So I do sense that coming through, especially for some of you who are going through a difficult month for this month, okay? What I'm also getting as well is we do have the Princess of Cups here, and the Princess of Cups is all about innocence, fun, and it's an offer of love and an offer of friendship. So I feel like that's what's happening here. First of all, I'm gonna say that be careful, like you know, going back to what I mentioned, you have some temptation in your environment, okay? And I feel like the other person is not seducing you, okay? I feel like they're just very innocent, very starry-eyed. They might look up to you. They might admire you quite a bit. And I feel like they put you on a pedestal. So how you conduct yourself is going to be really important. So I definitely feel this is an energy here pertaining to a water sign. And I feel like this might be you, or this might be generally, you know, an offer to start something new. And I feel like you have many options. You have an opportunity to start something brand new that is going to seem very exciting and very like just carefree, okay? And I what I'm feeling is that it's taking you away from a very restrictive environment. So I feel like it's a burst of new energy that you are welcoming into your life. But I feel how the energy plays out is still to be determined. So like what I said earlier about, what you do this month is very important. Who you let into your life, how you conduct yourself, all of these things are going to be scrutinized. So you just want to be very careful, okay, Scorpio. You've got like really intense energies and a lot of major arcanas, but the major arcana cards all deal with like very strong, like, this is like restriction here. This is like control, being controlled by something else. And this is a card of lust as well. And you've got like the Justice card, which is about moderation and balance. And then you've got this guy, which is all about, it's like working under the mandates of somebody else. So, it's like restriction, like heavy restriction and wanting to break free. So you're dealing with some really complex and opposing energy for this month. Be very careful, all right? And I feel like it's business and love oriented, but I feel like there's this element of temptation pervasive through this entire spread. Just be careful about that, okay? We're going to go into your love reading now. So, okay. So let's see, Scorpios, what's So what I'm going to do, and I have yet to devise a spread for the love reading. I'm just going to do the traditional, Celtic cross, lay it down once, and then overlay it a second time just to get more messages, okay? I feel like that's the best method so far. I haven't found a better method, but I... Scorpios, you have like some problems about letting things go. Okay, and then I'm just going to overlay everything with another card. Okay, so this reading is actually very dry compared to, the other one, the previous one, the general reading. So let's just go into this, and I'll pull out more cards if necessary, okay? So first of all, we do have the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups is, this is like sailing over troublesome situations, okay? In the traditional Rider-Waite, and that's the meaning that I really like because I want to use that meaning. It basically pertains to like being emotionally invested in a situation, investing a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of sweat and tears into a situation and having trouble sailing on from it. But in this case, I do feel that a lot of you have known that once you turn your back on something, it can't be gone back to and fixed. And so a lot of you are emotionally, you have moved on. In terms of physically, you are still stuck in that space, okay? So emotionally, you are done. It's like, there's no question about it. But I feel like physically, you're not just done just yet, mainly because what's coming through here is the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords signifies to me an end of a conflict, okay? The Five of Swords is the minor arcana, and it basically means, not seeing eye to eye with another person. They might have said they know how to push your buttons. They say the exact things just to get a response out of you. You yourself could have done the same thing to them. And I feel like it was a very cyclical type of a pattern where, you know how to hurt each other. So I feel like you were in a situation and, like at its best, it was very emotionally gratifying and physically gratifying. At its worst, it was laden with conflict. And I feel that right now, the conflict is coming to an end, so things are kind of like rainbow and lollipops, But it's only a matter of time before someone steps on someone else's toes, and we're back to square one, which is the conflict. So I feel like this is kind of the calm right now that you're experiencing. So I feel like the conflict is alleviated, okay? What happened in the past that you left behind was, we do have the Temperance card, and the Temperance card indicates a person, a situation where someone had trouble with emotional regulation, okay? So that means flying off the handle, someone who is, excuse me, emotionally very up and down, very, very like volatile. And if you look at this card carefully, she's holding up two masks, right? And I feel like it's somebody who's very like two-sided, okay? Like two-faced, two-sided. They say one thing, they mean another, and you've always had to play the guessing game with them. They might like feel a lot of hurt and resentment, but they put on a brave face, or they might like just say one thing and mean another. So I feel like this was a person that you might have left behind, and I feel that the situation itself, I feel like they have trouble with emotional regulations in the extreme form, okay? And then for others of you, it could simply be that, you're so different from each other, and the other person is so like, they're so hard to read. They say one thing, they mean another, and they're confusing you, and I feel like it was a situation where you felt that you couldn't get an emotional connection with them, okay? The Temperance card also indicates, so the Temperance and the Nine of Cups usually appearing together, it indicates like somebody possibly with an alcohol issue. Their personality changes drastically when they drink. They might get overly weepy or overly insecure, or just, pick fights. It's somebody that has trouble regulating their emotions. So I definitely feel you have left a situation like that behind. Or it could just be simply, someone who knows how to push your buttons, gets you really riled up, and you're coming to a space where you are emotionally detaching yourself to avoid conflict and to, because you are realizing that it is unhealthy, okay? What's crowning you, and the crowning energy is just something that you are thinking about. We do have here the Queen of Wands, which is a fire sign. So this is somebody that's on your mind, somebody that you are thinking about, okay? It's a Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I feel like you're reminiscing about the good times. You're thinking about, when I was down on my luck, this person really took care of me. And this is what I call like the fairy godmother. It's somebody that really cared about you, and they don't care what you do. They don't care how much you have. They nurture you, and they nurture you like body, spirit, and soul. And it seems to me like this is somebody that you might be dealing with some difficulties for this month, and you are thinking about this person that, that you've been dealing with, and you are starting to really appreciate them, okay? And we have the Death card in the reverse, which basically means for a lot of you, you might seek out this person that was with you through thick and thin. And I feel like you might realize that this is the person that you want to be with, because they were nurturing, they were caring, and they were there with you, even, even at your worst, they were there with you. So this is a really beautiful energy, and I feel like you're starting to realize for this month what really matters to you, Scorpios, in terms of love, in terms of understanding what commitment is, and understanding all that glitters is not gold, okay? And going back to that yearly reading that I did, I feel like you spent the first 2 quarters, like the first half of the year, trying to figure some things out, trying to live like a good life, trying to secure financial, trying to seek financial security. And you might have neglected some relationships. And now that you are stable, I feel like you are starting to realize that actually there was this one person that was with me when I had nothing. So I feel like a lot of you are getting very nostalgic for another person and thinking about potentially trying to get a way back in with them or curry favors with them or trying to get back into their lives or contact them in some way, thinking about rekindling with the fire sign. Okay, I'm going to say this because this energy seems to me to be very neutral. With the fire sign, I feel like what you see is pretty much what you get with them. And I feel like they were very nurturing, okay? And they're just like a really good person. I also feel like for a lot of you it might not be a fire sign, but it might be somebody that you have children with. They might have children from a previous situation. You might have children from a previous situation. And you feel like, okay, since we're in the same station, we could blend our families together in a very harmonious way. So I feel like this is somebody that has the framework for a successful, lasting relationship, successful, lasting marriage as well. If you are in a relationship with a fire sign, I definitely feel like, a lot of mending fences with this person. I feel that you both are coming together in a way that is really meaningful. Okay, so it's a really nurturing, good energy that I'm feeling with this Queen of Wands. So let me see if there is anything else. Okay, so let's just move on ahead. The foundation here is something on which the situation is built, okay? We are dealing with the High Priestess. The High Priestess to me represents our intuition, okay? It's kind of like if in the past we have been dealing with we have been wearing those rose-colored glasses and we saw everything as like, rainbow and lollipops. This is the month in which things are being brought to focus, things are being brought to light, and imbalances in relationships, in disharmonies in relationship, lies that we tell ourselves, lie that we've kept from other people, everything is pretty much coming to light, okay? It's the whole unveiling process. And with the unveiling process, we can see here with the crown chakra, she's got a flower growing on the top of her head. And that to me indicates like uh, reaching that state of enlightenment, knowing, the truth, where we're no longer kept in the dark. We have the information so that we can make an informed decision. And I feel like that's exactly what I feel is happening for you. So a lot of you, there was a situation that you thought was done and over with, and I feel like it's making a comeback, okay? So this can pertain to a situation that you felt was very hurtful in the past. You're going back to it and you're trying to resolve it, okay? So the Ten of Swords here indicates to me this is having clarity about a situation, and this is also like overcoming past pains, past heartache in order to heal, in order to move forward, or coming to the realization that who has been there for you all along and who's very, very real to your life, okay? So I feel Scorpios, you've got a lot of reassessment that you need to do for this month. And I feel like, like on the one hand, I feel like you're choosing. I do feel temptation still. I do sense that. But I feel that you are very loyal. And once you have somebody else's loyalty, you are going to, conduct yourself in the most honest and respectful manner. It's when the boundaries are a little bit blurred. It's when you feel unappreciated by the relationship partner that I feel you might have the tendency to stray, okay? So what I'm feeling is in the past, it seems that you were looking for relationships that were very, very like emotionally, they come with a lot of highs and lows. And that is indicated by the Temperance card. It's like emotional fluctuation, excitement, that adrenaline rush, okay? So a lot of you might have been looking for that. And this can play out in two ways. So I feel like let's just say for those of you who are dating men, okay, because I have a lot of female clients in general. Let's just say for those of you who are dating men, I feel like you might have, a tendency to be attracted to men that are not emotionally available. So when they come, your world is like lit up. When they're not around, you feel like you're in this this dark spot. So that in itself is an emotional roller coaster. It's an emotional high and low. And it's a form of addiction as well, you know? Like once you hit like a low spot, you're looking for them, you're texting them, you're looking for validation, and you're trying to get yourself back like chemically in a balanced environment where you feel that adrenaline rush again, that high. So this is something to be very mindful about. Make sure your relationships are healthy. This emotional, constant emotional high and low, it's not going to be good for you. It's not stable and it's not healthy. So just be very careful about that in all of your relationships, not just love, in all of your relationships. Make sure things are balanced, okay? Make sure you're happy, and make sure that you're not just putting on a brave face when you are sweeping things under the rug. And if you're not happy about something, please just say it up front, because I feel like there's this whole sense about, you know, you or another person wearing a mask and masking your feelings, masking your intentions. And I feel like playing it cool, you know, like not trying to reveal too much of, like you can like somebody and you don't want to, you know, reveal how you feel about them, because you feel like it makes you feel weak and vulnerable and at their disposal. So the pretenses are definitely going to need to be squared away for this month if you want to have a much healthier communication and balanced relationship, okay? What I'm also feeling is the relationship was not, you know, emotionally nurturing. It might have been very physically gratifying, exciting, but it's not emotionally balanced and emotionally fulfilling. This was something that you were dealing with for quite some time, and I feel like there's this 180 turn where you're looking for a lot more stability. You're starting to realize, you know, who was there for me through the rough times, and you know, like who actually really took care of me, and I want that person. So I feel like, but I feel like the lesson is coming back in again because of something that was not learned properly the first time. So this is going to extend to like a very small minority, but I still feel that the message applies, you know, do things in moderation and just be careful about overindulging, okay? So enough about that. Let's talk about your future position. In terms of what's coming in for you in love and relationships, we do have the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords indicates to me a victory. So this is basically severing ties and going and charting out new territories, okay? So for some of you, you might have some very, very good news that are coming through, some type of a communication coming through between you and another person. And you might be scoping out somebody in your environment that is very much interested in you, okay? I pulled out a card to clarify, and we do have the Empress here. The Empress is in the reverse position. Both of these cards indicate to me that somebody is giving their power away. First of all, you're cutting ties, right? You're cutting ties from the past. You're scoping out new territories, and you're letting new people in. A lot of you might be trying to reach out to a fire sign, a Sagittarius, Leo, or an Aries. And I feel that you've got some reciprocal communication coming through from their end, and you might be going back to it, okay? And I'm feeling that there's this sense of like initial awkwardness when you encounter one another again with the Empress. And you might feel like, I feel like you might also sense that there's this initial awkwardness, you know, when you rekindle with with a person that you've been involved with in the past. And I do sense because of it, there's that initial sense of awkwardness. You will overcome it, and you will get a lot of good communication, honest, truthful communication as well coming through from them. And what I'm feeling is, for others of you, you are severing ties, okay? Especially, I feel like if you have been dealing with somebody who actually just didn't have time for you, you're going to look into other situations where you're with somebody who might not have lingering attachments. They might have a lot less like cord of attachments bound in with them, okay? I also feel the Empress deals with like physical attraction. So this is someone who's very, very fertile, very attractive, and it can be male or female. And it's somebody who's very like, what you see is pretty much what you get. I mean, she's got her heart on the shield, so she's very easygoing. She's very like out there. She is also just really, I'm feeling like what, like, up for, like, on display, you know? When it shows up in the reverse, I feel like it's somebody that might not want children, okay? In the reverse, it's the opposite of that fertility, and it might just be someone who's older, who is like not at a point where they can have children, or there might be some type of I feel like parental issue, so they might not have children, or they might have children with another person, but the children are not in the picture. So some type of variation concerning the new person that you're dealing with, and I feel like physically they might be outside of your usual type as well, okay? And let me see if, can you help me clarify the Ace of Swords? I'm actually confused about this. Okay. And what is causing this? Okay, so what I'm feeling is, you know, like whatever that past situation is, you are healing from it. So you're definitely becoming like severing ties. Somebody has really hurt you in the past. You're getting over it. You're breaking free from, I feel potentially, you're breaking free from bondage, and you're no longer bound to that past person, and you're scoping out new territory that are completely, you're dating new people that are completely outside of your usual type, okay? So what I'm feeling is this. You might be, you know, like earlier, you might have drifted away from either a water sign or a fire sign altogether, okay? Water sign, fire sign. And we have a lot of signs in the zodiac that are showing up here. We have all the elements. But what I'm feeling is you're dating somebody who is completely out of the left field, outside of your normal type, okay? Like, I feel like physically they're just very different from the women that you're women or the men that you've dated, okay? So I feel like this is a good break for you, and it's something that I feel is really worth pursuing. For those of you in committed relationships, if you are trying to get pregnant, I definitely feel some major breakthrough is going to come through. We have here the victory card, and it's also the card about inception, okay? I feel like birth and conception coming through for you guys. So it looks very positive. The relationship, if you've had troubles in the past, I definitely feel that this is a time in which couples are meeting each other, like meeting each other halfway, compromising, and like, you know, rekindling the love once again. Because I feel like deep down, you know, you are very loyal to people. If you know that someone has been there for you through thick and thin, you will treat them right. And I feel like that's what's happening here. You're getting to the rudimentary, you know, level of like, who are my friends? You know, who really cares about me? Who has been there for me when I had nothing? So I feel like you're coming to the realization that you are going to have to value the people that put you first, okay? So Scorpios, a little bit of a heavy reading, but I hope you take care of yourself in September, okay? Please take care of yourself. If you'd like a private reading, please contact me at the, well, you can visit the website. It's in the information is in the description box below. And I've also put up a donation link. And if you like the reading, if you found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And especially, you know, share this if it has been helpful, because I feel like the energy was quite heavy, okay? So maybe somebody's dealing with this and can get some guidance, especially pertaining to that work situation, being a slave to work, that whole imagery. So I do wish you the best. Take care of yourself, and I'll be back for the mid-month reading, okay? Bye-bye.